bad days happen, everybody. Bad days happen. It's just moving forward and still celebrating like those small little wins I've learned has been like what keeps me going.
Hi there, I'm Caroline, dog mom to Australian Shepherd mix Layla May. Welcome to Owners Tell All, an Instagram live series where I chat with other dog owners about the successes and struggles of owning a dog. As a first-time dog owner and mental health advocate, my goal is to make new dog owners feel less alone, give hope for those problems people thought they couldn't solve, and match words to how their dog is acting or how they are feeling. Thanks for being here, and make sure to follow us on Instagram at LAYLA_ILMAYYY. Okay, so we have Kayla here. Do you want to tell us like just a little bit like who you are, like how old, where you live, like how old Brewski is, and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Kayla. I am from New England, and I recently moved to San Diego probably 6 years ago or so, and that was kind of on a whim. Just drove out here and ended up meeting my husband on Tinder. Kind of crazy.
That is.
Yeah, we got Brewski. He is a yellow lab. You want to come say hi? Come here. He likes like sitting at the table. So hold on, I'll let you guys say hi. If you don't know Brewski, say buddy, say hi. That's Brewski. He literally is sitting in his own chair. We got Brewski as a puppy. He was 8 weeks old, and he's now 4. He'll be 5 in November. So yeah, that's
a little bit
about us. So yeah, a lot of people think he's a lot younger than he actually is. We always get like, is he a puppy? Like, how old is he? And I'm like, he's 4. Like,
I definitely only thought he was like two-ish, you know,
yeah.
like in that range. So.
Yeah, everyone thinks that, but no, he's 4, but has a ton of energy, and yeah, it's crazy.
That's awesome. So still kind of like a puppy.
He's still a puppy. Yeah, puppy at heart, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Is he your first dog, or did you have a dog growing up?
I had dogs growing up. I actually had a chocolate lab, and he is still at my dad's house, so in New England, but this is like my first actual dog.
Your dog. Yeah.
Yep.
So is there like some similarities between the two since they're both labs?
Honestly, no. Like they're
Really?
like completely polar opposites. It's just funny, like my other lab is kind of like Brewski definitely has lab qualities, but I think like my other lab is more of like the stereotypical, like not reactive, like all that. So
like all American dog.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
but
exactly.
Brewski's that too. You see him with his like beer cans, and you're like, that is an American dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I think I want to talk about raw first, raw feeding, and then kind of transition into like some training stuff. So when and why did you transition to raw feeding?
So we actually get this question a lot, and we didn't switch to raw until last summer. So we've only been doing it for like a year now. So he was 3 at the time. Yeah, 3 at the time when we transitioned, and we were using kibble for his whole first 3 years, and he was overweight, like probably 85 pounds or 88 pounds at his like max, which he's now 66 pounds. So he's lost like a ton of weight.
That's a big difference.
But so we were using kibble, and then I watched a documentary called Pet Food. I just kind of stumbled upon it. It was on Amazon, and it got just my brain thinking, okay, what else can we be incorporating into his food to help him? Even just started using supplements, and then we transitioned to home cooking. So I was slow cooking his food in a crock pot for like...
Okay. So you didn't start with Darwin's?
No, we didn't start.
Okay.
We kind of like slowly transitioned. So we started with home cooked. So I would buy like ground beef in bulk and vegetables and cook it in a crock pot. And we were like, oh my, like at first it was fine. And then after that, we're like, this is taking so much time and just didn't seem cost effective. And we were like, okay, what else can we do? So we then switched to farmer's dogs, so like the prepared, slow cooked food. And he started developing some like really bad allergies, like seasonal allergies. And at the time we didn't know they were seasonal. So we decided to go see a holistic vet. The holistic vet did an allergy test on him and also was like, if you're feeding farmer's dog or like a slow cooked food, you might as well just go raw. It'll be about the same price. But it will like be better for him. And if he has no like stomach issues, like he's not really sensitive to eating anything. Like we always gave him like dehydrated treats and whatnot. So she was like, just go ahead and switch. So then we ended up switching to raw, probably in August or September of last year.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
did you see like him start to lose weight whenever you did kind of like the at-home stuff, and then like
Yeah,
it just
I think it started when we started doing the home cooked things, and then when we switched to raw, it definitely moved a little bit quicker. I would say the first thing we noticed switching to raw was his like fur and his skin kind of healed up. He had a lot of like dry spots on his elbows, and like his paws were always like, I don't know, like kind of raw, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so
like
those were like,
them.
yeah, that was like those are the first couple things we noticed after switching. And then ever since switching, like his energy levels have increased, which is like, it's crazy to me actually. And it's probably because the weight loss as well.
Yeah,
you know?
I was gonna say, I feel like it could be a little bit of both.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So like his weight loss came off, I would say. So now we've been doing raw for about a year, and I would say, gosh, I'm trying to think how quick it came off, but it was pretty fast. And so yeah, we're just really happy. His stool size has gotten a lot smaller. He like poops twice a day, but they're super small. They don't smell. It's really nice.
That is nice. I've heard that before, but I actually don't know anybody like in real life personally that does raw, so I've never like been able to get up close and personal to some of that kind of stuff. But definitely like had my thoughts about it. Really like my biggest kind of like pushback as to why I wouldn't switch is like packing it to go places and training. So like I use kibble for training. So let's like talk a little bit about how you use that whenever you go different places or take it on the road.
Yeah,
train
sure. So actually last year we drove from California to New Hampshire, and at the time we were on raw. So that was definitely an interesting experience for us. We ended up buying a Yeti cooler and packing it as like good as we could. And then we also bought like, I don't know, freeze dried raw, which we were able to give him that when we ran out of like the actual raw. So he was still getting kind of the same, but just it was in a different form, which was great. As far as training, our trainer had suggested hand feeding, which I know a lot of trainers suggest, like especially with like reactivity and going on walks and stuff. That has been a little tricky for us because it's like I'm using a stasher bag and then like a glove if I do that to like give him raw food. So that's a little tricky. But I do still have some of like the freeze dried raw, which I use a lot too.
Okay, that makes sense. I've seen people like freeze them in like the ice cube trays or like in the balls and then kind of give them that way. But you're like limited to, you know, maybe like you only have 10 ice cubes.
Yeah.
And they're frozen. You can't break them apart as easily.
No.
So like there's obviously I feel like more pros to it than cons. But it is a big decision to turn and kind of make that change.
I feel like food is, you know, like food is a huge thing. I mean, that's something your dog is going to be eating probably for, you know, like depending on which kind of food, you know. So I was really hesitant and nervous at first, and my husband especially was, but our vet kind of just guided us, which was great because I know a lot of vets don't like prefer raw. So it was really great to have a holistic vet that's like certified in nutrition on our side and guiding us the whole way. So it made it super easy for us.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you see so many like different people doing it now on Instagram especially, so I feel like people are more aware of it and that, you know, these dogs aren't they're seeing tons of benefits. I wouldn't say anybody's seen any like super negative side effects from
Yeah.
switching.
And I mean, I think all dogs, some dogs might not like their stomach might be sensitive, so they can't handle the raw food or like breaking down bones and whatnot. So it's just like every dog is different. Same thing with training.
Yeah, for sure. Layla's stomach is like super tough, so I don't worry about that. Her
She can handle,
stomach,
she can handle everything.
anything, and she's perfectly fine. It's actually quite amazing some of the things that she has like ate off the ground, and I'm like, you were going to get sick, and then she just never gets sick. It's
like what?
like probably around this time last year, she ate like not a whole, but probably like a half of like those like M&M cookies that you get from like a bakery. Like, they come in like a package, so the mini ones that are like this big.
Okay.
So I mean, she probably ate like at least 10 of them.
Oh,
and she had diarrhea, but that was it. Like, she never threw
God.
up. She never showed any signs of like chocolate poisoning or anything like that.
Wow.
And at the time, we like didn't realize it. And then like the next morning, like it had already been so long to where like she would have showed effects by now. And all she had was diarrhea. So like, yeah, your stomach is tough as a rock.
There's some dogs, like I know a couple of our friends, like they'll eat a sock and then get it out. I'm like, that would freak me right out.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've heard of people's dogs chewing up like remotes, and I'm like, that's plastic. So, but whatever.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So speaking of kind of training, when did you start to see like that Brewski needed more training? Oh, and what kind of like reactivity does he have? So if you just want to like explain kind of what he does, what you see, and like how you got pivoted in that direction to start training.
Sure. So I think his reactivity started when he was about 2. And we noticed it when we had moved to a new apartment, and we were living on like the 2nd floor. So we had to take an elevator to go up to our apartment every time. And we lived across from the elevator. And so it started one day that like we really noticed it was we were walking out of our apartment door and the elevator opened and 2 dogs were like right there, and it caught him so off guard, I think. And so he like fought, like not fight, but like instead of like flight, he was like, I'm growling at the dog, like scared the crap out of him. And then ever since
they kind of snuck up on him, right? So it
Yeah.
was kind of like you probably were startled too, you know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because like before that, he was going to like a doggy daycare weekly, taking him, everywhere to our friends' houses with dogs, and like never crossed our minds. Like at doggy daycare, there's never any issues. And so I think it was just like a barrier and then just like a shock. And then I think he has like associated the elevator with like negativity ever since that happened. And so it was just like, oh my God, like, what are we going to do? Because we're living in this place. We have a year lease, and we both were just like, oh no. So, and then like the dogs lived across the hall from us too. So that was just like trying to plan we started like trying to avoid, which obviously isn't the best solution. So we started to like try to avoid them and like go out at different times. And it was stressful for us, stressful for him. And he probably fed off our energy. So that's really when it started. He was 2 years old. And at that time we were like, okay, we want to try and fix this. So we sent him to a board and train for 3 weeks.
In the San Diego area?
Yeah, in San Diego area. And they were the first people to introduce us to using a prong collar as well as an e-collar. And so we went with their recommendation, and we were like on board completely with sending him for 3 weeks, and also them utilizing these tools, which at the time for someone who's like never had to use them before is a little intimidating. And you're like, oh, is my dog getting hurt? Like, does this hurt my dog? Does this, how is this going to affect him? But it actually, we still use them to this day, and it's been great. But I will say, as far as the board and train, when he came back, we totally didn't utilize like what they had recommended us for going forward. So we did start to see him kind of slip back, and I totally blame that on us.
Just like a consistency problem.
Yeah. And I think it was like we're still living in the same apartment, and it was just like, yeah, we spent all
It's
this
a
money.
huge life switch to kind of be like, I'm starting these boundaries, like from here on out, we're gonna do it this way and make sure that we see the good results. I haven't sent Layla to a board and train because she's a year and a half, and whenever we were doing like the majority of our like hardcore structured stuff, which we still kind of do now, but like not as intense, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
It was during COVID, so I couldn't send her to board and train. And I still kind of think that maybe one day, like I will, just like for fun, like if we go on like a big trip or something. Did you do like a lot of research before you picked out that board and train?
Yeah, we did, and they had like great reviews. They also like offered like follow-up classes, so it was kind of like
awesome.
to go with other people that did the board and train program. They would offer it on Saturday mornings, and you would do some like drills walking around, and like so they had those, and we did go to a few of those. But again, I totally blame us for not sticking with it, and I think that's probably our biggest regret is just not keeping with it when he was 2 years old, and now we're like back to square one a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I see you going like for some group walks with different people in that area, which is awesome. And I know that they probably like respect whatever you need to do in terms of like walking and staying, like keeping distance and whatever is best for the dogs, which is really nice to have.
So nice.
I know. Is Gamja, is that she in your area? Or are they in your area?
She's in Orange County, but we meet up quite frequently.
Okay. I was going to say, I think that's who I saw you with, but can't remember.
Yeah. She like loves San Diego. I don't know if she's still on, but she like was always like, I'll come to San Diego. And I'm like, girl, that's like 2-hour drive for you.
Yeah. She's dedicated.
Yeah, it is.
That's awesome though.
Yeah.
So once you kind of saw that like regression and you realized that it was because of your consistency, what did you do to get back on the train?
Honestly, I neglected it probably for like a year and was in like avoidance. Like we were just like, we'll avoid dogs, we'll avoid like, because also it's like, it plays on my mental health too, because I'm like, I am like nervous about what people are going to think about me and my dog, and like just that whole perception that I'm like not being a good dog parent and like not training my dog. So it's like I think we kind of just avoided it for 6 months or so, and it wasn't until like last year that we like picked it up a lot again.
Okay, so probably around like the same time you started raw.
Yeah, I would say like a little bit.
Which in Brewski's life.
Yeah, I was like, new year, new us.
Yeah, that's good. So that kind of covers like when you thought he regressed a little bit. During that time, were you still using the prong and e-collar, but still like avoiding and kind of like still doing the avoiding stuff, but like whenever he would go out, he would still wear the prong?
Yeah, we would. Yep, exactly. So like we'd go for a walk, and obviously we'd still see dogs out, but it was just like, I guess our training kind of was just like all over the place. Like we were not being consistent at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was too, like if we were like had a house, I think at that time it would have been a little bit easier, because we were like so scared still to like go out of our apartment door and there'd be a dog at the elevator, or like walk down the hall, or I guess it was just kind of like on us that we were just, I don't know, fearful about what our neighbors would think, which sounds so foolish, but yeah.
No, I totally, I mean, I don't live in an apartment, but I get what you mean, because Bobby's sister lives in an apartment that's similar to that. And, you know, you would have to like peek out the door both ways before opening up the door completely for your dog. So that's a lot. Did you like have any kind of confidence boosters like to get you back on this train and get you into it? Did you have to
Uh,
like did you reach out to anyone and kind of like need that confidence boost?
oh yeah, absolutely. It's kind of foolish, but I think like starting his Instagram was like the best thing because it made me realize
Yeah.
that I wasn't alone and like there's
Yeah.
other that are reactive because when it's just like your circle of, real life friends and they all have dogs that play together, you think like these other people with reactive dogs don't exist. And so starting his Instagram was super eye-opening and it made me be like, okay, like we can still do this. He's 3 at the time and we're like, is he too old? Like, no, he's not too old. Like, he can still be fine in public. We just have to work
Yeah.
on it. It had to be like a commitment from my husband and I.
Yeah, for sure. And it's nice to have two people.
Yeah.
Honestly, for the people that are doing it, like the single dog parents, I really feel for them. I don't know how, like, I would be able to do this all by myself, even if I'm doing like the majority of the work, like just to have that kind of person to be like,
Mm-hmm.
Layla's being a total bitch right now. And then he's like, I understand. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's
Or
just
like,
nice
hey,
to
you
have
take him
someone
for a
there.
walk today. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just nice to have someone be like, I can't take it anymore. Like
Yeah.
you take her to do her thing really quick and then give me that 10-minute decompression and I'll be fine again.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know how people that are single dog owners do it.
Props to them because it's tough. Like, even sometimes I'm like, oh, like, I don't want to do this. You know what I mean? And I have somebody, and it's like, it would be so hard just being by myself.
Yeah, no, for sure. Um, so how do you deal with training setbacks and keep moving forward? And sorry if my light's flickering, like Layla's
No,
laying
you're
on
good.
she's laying on the cord, so I think it's like going in and out.
You're totally good. Oh my God, Brewski. Let me just show you him real quick. Bro, like he brought me his toy and he's just
Oh, he wants to play. He brought you a
play.
bottle.
Yeah. How ironic. So, gosh, setbacks. That was something I really struggled with and kind of still to this day do. Our trainer, she was like, there's going to be days where you need like separate time from him, put him in his crate. It's good
Yeah.
for him too. And you need to like relax and like have a glass of wine or like go for a walk by yourself. And that is really hard to grasp because you think, I associate at least going for a walk and then bringing Brewski. Like, I don't associate like outdoor time by myself. And that's something like I
Yes.
still need to embrace doing. I will say like our second training session, I came home and cried because he was just unbelievable. Like, I
Yeah.
was so embarrassed because we had been doing so good and have been like super consistent. And then that day, it just like all went to shit. Like, he was just
Yeah.
like not having it. And it's just like, that's fine. Like, I don't have, every day's not a great day for me either. So that's been something like I've been trying to be okay with, is that he's not going to be perfect every single day. I want him to, but he's not going to be. I'm not perfect every day. And I think that's
Yeah.
something like dog owners we need to be okay with.
Yeah, I think that is just a great thing to think about. For sure. We had one of those moments this morning where Layla and I were just like at each other, just like we could not like get in sync. So yeah, I mean, I just had to put her in her crate. I was like, you're just gonna go hang out in there. I'm gonna do my thing, and like we'll meet up in a couple hours, and then we were fine.
That's
it's
great.
like we're besties again.
That's great that you do that. I mean, Chelsea, our trainer, actually just jumped on. She literally like, I messaged her and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, this training session was just the worst. Like, and she just reassured me that it's okay. Like,
Yes.
so yeah, bad days happen, everybody. Bad days happen. It's just moving forward and still celebrating like those small little wins. I've learned has been like what keeps me going.
Yeah, I love that. And I totally resonate with the thinking outside time is just like dog time because I can tell you the time that I went for a walk by myself, and it was because like I was really frustrated, and I went for a walk by myself. It was pretty late, like it was already dark, and I still went. And I just remember thinking like, this is weird. What am I supposed to do? But like I used to walk by myself like all the
Yeah.
time. But I haven't in a year and a half. So
It's
that's
such a weird
crazy.
concept. Yeah, like she was like, just go for a walk by yourself. Like Brewski doesn't need to go for every walk. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so weird. Like I can't picture just like going for a walk by myself, but
I
there
know.
are times where we need to be like, he goes in his crate, I need to do my own thing for a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's
The one time that I did go for that walk by myself, one of my neighbors was like, "Where's Layla?"
they're
Maybe
like,
I
who
should
are
do this
you?
more. But yeah, that's hilarious. So speaking of like, kind of how you bounce back and dealing with those bad days. So how has Brewski affected your mental health? You said that there were definitely times that you were like so embarrassed that you cried, and I'm sure there are some other people that have felt that way, me included. So
Absolutely. I mean, I'll start like during COVID, obviously that was a hard time of the year for everybody. My husband started nursing school full time. I felt like I was like I had Brewski, but like I felt just kind of a little bit alone, like alone a little bit.
mhm.
And so at that point, and still right now, like I feel like our bond has gotten so much stronger, me and Brewski. So like for my mental health, it's been awesome. And starting his Instagram and meeting so many friends that like it's funny to like say friends, because it's like
Yeah,
you've never met them in person, a lot of them, but it's just like it's been so nice like for a hard year, to like have support and have a dog. I can't imagine not having a dog during this past year.
yes, totally.
Like I really can't. As far as like the downs, like with training and stuff, I feel like my mental health is like this all the time. You know what I mean? With like training, it's like you'll have a great training day and then you'll have a bad training day and then you'll have a good one, then you'll have a great one, and then you're like back. You're like, were we back to square one? So like it kind of messes with my mind a little bit too, but at the end of the day, like we're working hard and I know like he's doing the best he can, I'm doing the best I can, so I really try not to like let it affect me too much.
That's really nice. I am one of those people that like I get like super I take things really personal. So whenever like Layla does something, like not even like at another dog, but like sometimes like she just right out does not listen to me, or just does something that is just, like I feel like against me, even though she
Yeah.
probably doesn't mean for it to be that way, but I'm just like you're
You're
going
like, why
against
did you
me.
do that to me?
Yeah, but it really affects me, and it really affects my mental health. So I've been trying to get a lot better about kind of like acknowledging that happened, and then like doing whatever I need to get past it, and then like starting the day over again.
Yeah.
Um, because just like I've always been really triggered by like disappointing people, and like um people's emotions just like affect me like a lot, I guess,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So I've been working very, very hard on that, and her included, even though she's
Yeah.
not a human and can't even
No.
speak words to me.
Oh,
She's
that's
just
great.
a
It's good to acknowledge it because, that's
yeah.
how you realize like, okay, I can do this, to help. And I think that's great that you're acknowledging it.
Yeah, it's gotten so much better, along with like doing other things too. But that's really has been a big help. She's being like really cute on the
Oh.
couch right now.
Oh. We're playing fetch right now, so.
That's okay.
Oh my gosh.
Um, so what would you say to someone who has a dog similar to Brewski, like a year to a year and a half ago, when you were really in like a rough time?
Um, I just don't give up. I wanted to give up. I did give up for a year. Having a reactive dog is not easy, and I just, oh my gosh, I'm sorry if you can hear that.
It's okay.
Having a reactive dog is not easy, and there's people here to support you. You're not alone. That's really what I can say, because I felt like I was the only person with a lab, never mind, another kind of dog. Like everyone that sees him, they're like, he's a lab, he's supposed to be nice. Like, why isn't he nice? So I just, yeah, it's crazy. So
Maybe I don't know, like, the lab breed well enough. Like, my dad has a lab, and I mean, he's happy-go-lucky, but he's not, like, he still pulls on the leash and things like that. So, but I've never, and he barks at people, but like not a whole lot, but it does have like the alert barking. I guess I just never realized that labs were supposed to be the super friendly dog.
Yeah, I mean, I would say they're probably supposed to be in like the same class as like the golden retriever, like family friendly dog, and just every dog's different. Doesn't matter the breed, really doesn't.
Yeah, no, it does not at all. And even if it's the breed, like just the circumstances that it goes through, like, any dog could be really triggered by the elevator thing, no matter what the breed. So I think it's about experiences too, and some of those things you just can't help. Like, you can't help that you walked out the door the same
no
elevator.
It's like, and had I had known, I feel like I always say this, like, if I would be doing things so differently from what I know now, if I had a dog, getting a puppy now, I would do things so differently, you just learn. And again, like, I should have like introduced him to, knowing we're moving to a place with an elevator, I should have like introduced him to an elevator, like just things like that you don't think about at the time.
Yeah. And it's just like hindsight is 2020. I'm always like thinking that whenever I get a puppy, whenever that may be, that I'm gonna like do all these things. And then sometimes I think about it and I'm like, that's kind of a lot.
Yeah, you're like, but well.
I know. So you do have like a big social following on here on Instagram, and I'm sure you probably do on like TikTok too. I don't know, like, your TikTok follower number.
It's not. It's like 5. I hate TikTok. Oh my god. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Stop. Oh my god.
Yeah,
but TikTok.
Has there ever been something that was like hard to share, either on social media or to a friend or to a trainer?
Yeah.
I think on social media, especially, like, it has all these good things, but then the first time that you ever post about it, you have this big, like, I know at least I did, I had this big, like, oh my gosh moment, like, can I do this?
Yeah, you're like, oh my god, like, what are people gonna think,
Yeah.
Totally. Absolutely. In the beginning of our account, I should have looked back and looked and saw when I first talked about reactivity, because it took me a while to come out and say like that he was reactive, because I just, again, was like the perception of what people thought. I didn't want people to think like, oh, she has a mean dog, like he, or like, I guess I was just scared about what people would think. So it took me a while to really come out and say that he was reactive.
Yeah. And how did people respond to it? Where I'm sure there was like a bunch of, encouraging comments, but were there any like negative things that came out of it?
Honestly, I don't think nothing negative really came out. I think like my biggest Mr. Murphy, I think really was the person that like really made me feel comfortable to come out and talk about it. After seeing Val post about reactivity and being so open about the usage of like prong and e-collar, and then seeing the support she got, and then I just kept like finding pages that had reactive dogs, and then I was like, okay, there are people out here like me and like our situation that I can come out and feel comfortable saying that he's reactive. And yeah, we just got an overwhelmingly amount of support. I would say even just like being in our community in San Diego, like there's pack walks and people are so great about giving space and like knowing that there's reactive dogs within the pack walks. It's awesome. It's just been great ever since saying it.
That is awesome. That makes me so excited for you too. I always get jealous of people that do pack walks. There's none around here, unless I drive like an hour or two, because we're just not in a big enough city. But it's awesome. Sometimes I do pack walks, or it's just me and this one other girl, but it's still so fun.
I've seen your videos though. That's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
have you like noticed anything? Like, have they been able to like get closer like every time, or like?
Oh yeah.
compared to
Oh
the first
yeah.
time?
Like typically, we've went on two, and I think towards the very end of the first one, and then like literally 5 minutes into the second one, we were able to walk. It was like Layla, me, her, and then her dog, and we were like right beside each other, but the dogs were like on the outside.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that was awesome. And Layla is not she wants to play. So it was pretty easy to like correct her and fix that issue. But if another dog comes right up and kind of like initiates play, like sniffs and like maybe does like a little play bow or something like that, she's all in. Like she thinks
Oh my God, that's awesome.
and so like sometimes it's good, but then it can cause it causes her to react, and then it ends up like getting frustration from the leash. But then if we see another dog, she doesn't react unless they like come up right to us. So it was pretty easy to like kind of like navigate that. Her reactivity is mainly like flight response. So any like different sound that is just like really obscure, or just like some different things in the environment really set her off and make her want to like run away.
Sure, like what kind of
reactivity? So whenever she has whenever she does pull on the leash, it's because she's really scared and is just trying to like pull towards, I assume, wherever she thinks home is, or like wherever like a safe spot is, or like away from the trigger. So but it's a lot. It's like it's very intense. But I've never dealt with a dog that, had like dog reactivity, so I can't like really compare. But I mean, I would say it's like, it's equal but opposite, if that makes sense.
No, it totally does. I mean, I guess like at first too, I thought he was just excited to play with other dogs. They'd be like, oh, he just wants to play. Like he's just like doesn't like being restricted from the leash. And I just think like that could be it a little bit, but at the same time, like now he just doesn't want to play with dogs at all. Like has zero interest to play. Like him and Gamjo were off leash for the first time together last weekend, and like Gamjo's like running circles around him trying to get him to like chase him, and Brewski's like, dude, what are you doing? Like I want nothing to do with that. So in a sense they're kind of like perfect for each other, because like they both just do their own thing, which is great. He just doesn't want to play. He just wants to like play fetch. We'll go to the dog beach and he just wants to do his own thing. That's really,
I mean, that's kind of nice in the fact that like worry about him running away to another dog. We had an off-leash dog in our neighborhood come up to us the other day. It had no leash, no collar. I knew what house it belonged to, but the owners weren't home. I don't know. It was very, very strange. It was really weird that the dog didn't have a collar on. So I wasn't really able to like grab it. And it was a collie or a sheltie, so it had really long fur. But it came up to Layla and like sniffed her butt, and then just immediately like play bowed. I was like, oh my gosh. So then I like, Layla was just like wanting to start to play. I still have the leash. I was like, where's this dog's owner? Like, what's going on? But then like later on, I was knocking on the doors of the house that I thought it belonged to, and a very small dog came by, and it's reactive, like, and will bark and lunge. I've seen it before. And the off-leash dog, like, because I was just kind of like barely holding on to its neck, because I was like, I can't, I don't want to like hurt you or anything, but like I need to kind of hold on to you somehow. And it got loose and ran up to that off-leash dog, and it just went berserk. Or the smaller dog, like the smaller dog just went, you know, crazy, because this dog was invading its space, and it was very big. Like the off-leash dog was Layla's size, so probably like 60 pounds. And then it was like a very small dog, and I don't know.
Oh my
It was an
God.
awful situation. And I was like,
Yeah.
why does this dog not have like any, like, where is your humans?
Oh my gosh. So what ended up happening?
So a neighbor came by and was like, I'll just put the dog in my backyard until they get home.
That's so nice. That's so
Yeah,
nice.
it was nice. And I think she like knew them like more personally.
Yeah.
And so like she felt okay doing that. I probably wouldn't have felt okay doing that, just because I don't know these people. I've only like seen the dog at that house.
Yeah.
But it was crazy. And
Oh my,
I was in shock that it didn't even have a collar on. I've
oh
seen a
my.
dog without a collar in a really long time.
Yeah. We actually like, you're lucky too, like that Layla isn't dog reactive, because like we've been in that situation before where an off-leash dog that shouldn't be off-leash in an on-leash area comes like running up to us, and it's the worst. Like it is. It's like I had it happen this weekend. Actually, we were at Balboa Park and we were doing great. Like he walked past a ton of dogs, like did awesome. And then we like sat in the grass to like decompress a little bit. I gave him like a pig ear, like just to like chill out. There was a dog sitting next to us. And do you tell her about the picnic? Yeah. So there's a dog sitting next to us, and the owner drops its leash, and the dog comes sprinting to Brewski's face while he's laying down. And Brewski starts.
Especially with the pig ear, which is just like,
Well, he finished it at
okay,
that time,
okay.
thankfully, but I was like, oh my God, this could have been way worse. So the dog comes like sprinting up to us, and Brewski starts growling, and I like just like instinctively like grabbed him, put him behind me, and the owner's just casually walking over, and I'm like, my dog's reactive. Can you come get your dog? Like yelling. And the guy's like, oh, I'm sorry. And like, it's just like, I feel like until you have a reactive dog, you just don't really get it. Like, you just don't get it. Like,
Yeah.
and I couldn't be mad at Brewski because he was perfect all day, like laying down, just decompressing. Like, the dog was close by too. He had no reaction. And then it's like, as soon as the dog came off leash, sprinting at his face, he just was like, not good.
No, I mean, it's sometimes like their reactions are valid. It's the kind of more the inappropriate ones that you have to worry about and figure out what caused you to do this. But yeah, I mean, one of the reasons that I wanted to do this kind of whole series was to bring awareness to like reactive dogs, and just like what you said, you don't realize some of these things until you have one, or until you've heard these like personal stories. And so hopefully like this will reach out to at least one person and make them have like think a little bit differently before they drop the leash, or just like let their dog off leash on a hike or anything like that.
Yep.
Not saying you shouldn't let your dog off leash on a hike, but
time and place.
Yeah.
Especially like we're at like a huge public park. Like that's just not the place to be doing that at all.
Yeah, totally. So what are your end goals, and have they changed over time?
Yeah, I definitely think our end goal right now is to really work on his reactivity still. He's gotten, just since training like strictly, I would say since last year, he's gotten so much better. Like before, we wouldn't take him out really in public places, especially in San Diego, because it's super busy like everywhere you go. So we like I bring him everywhere now pretty much. I am like a little cautious some places, but I think like that was one of my goals was to be able to like I don't want to leave him home, you know. I want to be able to enjoy life and bring him along with me or, you know, like so I think
Yeah,
that was definitely one of my big goals was to like be able to bring him more places. Um and yeah, I don't, that's really, I think at first, you know, my goal was to like, I was like, he's gonna play with dogs again. Like, he's gonna, you know, like I just had this like envision that like my dog was gonna be transformed and like could play with every dog again. But that's just not him. So my goals
yeah,
have definitely changed. And like, as long as he can coexist, I'm fine. Like, that's all I care about.
that's awesome. Um, is San Diego really dog friendly?
Yeah, like there's 4 dog beaches, like just beaches specifically for dogs. There's all the
Wow,
restaurants. Yeah, it's crazy. Like you can bring your dog pretty much everywhere,
wow,
which is
that's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is
that's really nice.
awesome. Yeah, it
Um,
just like at first, obviously, I was like so sad. And I still sometimes I'm like, oh, I just wish, you know, like that I could still bring him to like a busy brewery or a busy restaurant, but it's okay. Like I have to adapt and whatever's best for him, you know?
yeah, I have to think about that too. And even like on some days he might be able to handle it, but then on
Yeah.
others you can just tell like he's already overwhelmed and
Hmm.
it's probably just not going to be like the greatest idea to take him. So, it's nice to have that time to enjoy yourself though too, and not have to
Yeah.
worry about making sure you have like all your treats and
I know.
like you
It's a
have your
lot.
baby
It's
pack.
a lot. It really is a lot. Like, I know, and I think too, like with COVID, I feel like I have separation anxiety with him. Like, as crazy as that sounds, like before, I was working in the office 8 hours a day, like he was staying home all day. And now I'm like, like my husband and I went golfing yesterday for like 4 hours, and I'm like, oh, I miss him. Like,
Yeah.
what's wrong with
Do you,
me?
do you work from home now?
Yeah, I'm full time from home now, so
That's awesome.
yeah.
I do too.
It's
Do you crate him like for a little bit during the day while you work?
He pretty much is just on place the whole day. Like he doesn't really go
Okay.
in his crate day, but he sleeps in his crate at night.
Okay.
Which
Yeah.
he did.
What is it?
I said he like we started him sleeping in his crate this year again before like we crate trained him when he was a puppy and then
Mhm.
he just started sleeping in it again.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put Layla up for like anywhere. It depends like on my meetings, but typically at least like 3-ish hours during the day just so that I can get be really productive and not have to worry about anything. Um, but yeah, I think like place is very similar. Like you put them there and you don't have to worry. Um,
If
okay.
Layla wasn't in her crate, does she like want to play and stuff or does she kind of chill out? Like if you're working, what does she typically do? Like if she's not in her
So
crate.
so kind of like what our typical day looks like is we go for like a mile or two walk and then we'll come back in and do like some tricks or training. And then she'll like be on place for a bit. And then I have some meetings. I have a meeting every morning from like 10 to 11 a.m. So she's on place during that time.
Okay.
Or I'll do like a tethered decompression where I put just like a leash on her
Yep.
and either tie her to something or step on it. And so she just like same idea as place basically. And then we'll play for a little bit because she's pretty restless by that point. So like she'll either like I'll give her a bone or like a chew or we'll play. And then about like at that time I'll take her for like another short walk and then put her up for a bit. And then I'm like super productive for like 3 to 5 hours. And
Okay.
then get her back out around like 4 or 5. And at that time we go outside and have like a huge play session.
Oh,
Uh,
that's awesome.
so just like really um, get her going at that. I feel like she's like um, she has a lot of energy at that time, so it's like the best time to play for like her. kind of like time schedule. And then from that point, then like we come in, and while I'm doing like chores or anything like that, she's like pretty chill. But like I do have to make sure that I am like fulfilling some of her needs throughout the day by playing or kind of like giving her that mental stimulation, or else she's just like constantly bringing me like a toy or
like
yeah just like anything. And especially like while I'm in meetings, I'm like, you cannot do this. So but that's what works for us.
Yeah,
So
I get that. I think like it's funny because like right now we would normally be playing or like out on our walk. So I think that's why like his schedule is like usually we like, oh no, we do something in the morning, and then like he's pretty like he just lays in and sleeps pretty much most of the day like while I'm working. And then after I'm done work, it's like a switch comes on and he's like, time to play, time to go for a walk.
Yep.
Like so I think right now he's like, what is going on, lady? Like
oh yeah,
he's so needy, like so
it's like it's what they're like.
It's almost 6.
Okay.
Yeah, I had him before the live because like he's usually like literally this is the neediest dog.
He can't wait. He can't wait. Well, Brewski, good for you. We have 2 more questions and then you can go play. Okay, these are fun questions too. So, okay, what type of play does your dog like to do? And then do you also like it, or do you like something else?
Bro, what kind of play do you like? Just kidding. I wish I could ask him, but he loves everything. Like he'll play fetch forever. So that's probably his favorite, I would say.
Yeah.
Just retrieving. Like he loves to retrieve like out of the water, in the yard. Like we recently started using a frisbee, so he like loves that right now. We love playing hide and seek, as funny as that is.
Oh,
like,
that is so fun. I play that inside the house sometimes.
We do too. Yeah, like it's funny. I'll be like, go cow, and he'll like run up the stairs and wait there, and I'll hide, and then I'll be like, okay, and then he'll come like sprinting around like looking for me, and then as soon as he finds me, we like celebrate, and then he runs back upstairs, and it's just like on repeat.
A cycle.
Like,
that's awesome. Whenever we do that, I have to put Layla on her place, and then like I'll release her. And then it's funny because sometimes I will just like, come find me, like yell, come find me, come find me. And then sometimes I'll take like a toy with me and we'll like randomly squeak it. And that awesome. She really likes that, I think.
Oh, that's so fun.
Because it's like she's finding me and the toy.
That's super fun. Yeah, he like, I haven't played with hide and seek in a while for him. I definitely should. It's so fun. I like love playing hide and seek.
I think it's really fun too.
Yeah. So we play that. He likes being chased a little bit, especially if he like steals a shoe or a sock or something. He like will come and show it to me. Like I'll be sitting on the couch or something. He'll come show it to me, and then he'll like want to be chased.
That sounds exactly like Layla.
Yeah, he loves that. Like loves that. And then what else does he like? Fetch. Oh, we recently got a flirt pole, so we've been using that a little bit, trying to like, I think he's trying to figure it out a little bit, but he likes it so far.
Some dogs like that's definitely a little bit more like instinct than others. Like Layla's really keen on the flirt pole. She like understands it. But then whenever it comes to fetch, she's still not super cooperative about like bringing me back the ball. So like I'll throw it and then she'll get it, and then she'll kind of do like the thing where she like is like, come chase me, like keep away with it. So like fetching is like not super instinct for her, like how it probably is for retrievers.
Exactly. Yeah, that is funny because like if she loves the flirt pole, and the herding ball, I saw you do too.
Yes,
she loves that.
She loves the herding ball. I know I've showed it to some other dogs before, and they weren't herding breeds, and they were like didn't know what to do with it.
That would probably.
So like I really understand like why it's meant for like that breed.
Okay.
But yeah, she loves it. The first time that I showed it to her, like I just was kicking it like a soccer ball, and she immediately like ran for it and did like the exact same thing that you saw in the videos today.
Oh my
So
God.
it did not take like any like practice or like
That's so
she
cool.
just knew what to do, which was like one of the coolest things to see actually.
That's amazing because you guys have done like actual herding before too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's
we've had
cool.
like a 4 or 5 like herding lessons. So like yeah, it's definitely like in her blood
That's
to
so
herd
cool.
things. Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, it's awesome. I highly recommend one of those balls if you have a herding breed. Because they can kind of play with it on their own, or you can like do it with them and do like I'll like kind of kick it like a soccer ball and do like offense and defense type stuff.
Oh, that's
Um,
so cool.
but then she can also do it by herself to like get energy out if she wants to.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Can't do
I
it
would.
inside the house though.
Oh yeah, that ball looks hard.
Yeah, it is. It's only like maybe a pound, but it's very hard, like a bowling ball.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it looks hard. It looks fun though. Like I would love to see. He would probably like be like, "Why can't I pick this up? Like I
Yeah,
want to bring it to you, but like why can't I?" Be
no,
like, "Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
that's super cool." Yeah, we tried dock diving for the first time last weekend, I think it was, and I was like, "I don't think he'll jump." And the guy was like, "Okay." So we like started on the ramp, and then he was like doing great off the ramp, and the guy was like, "I think he's good to go off the dock." So like we brought him up, and he just jumped, and I was like, who are you? Like, who's this confident dog that I don't know? Like,
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Are you gonna keep up with it and do more?
I want to. Yeah, I want to. The only downside is like the dock diving place that we went to is a little bit far. It's like probably an hour and 10 minutes away, which kind of sucks, but
Yeah.
I definitely want to go again. Like it was so
Yeah.
fun. It's fun for me too. So,
Even if you do it like once a month, because I'm sure in San Diego it's like open, maybe not every month, but a lot of the months since like
yeah,
it's
he has it.
hot.
He has it. It's super cool the way the guy does it too. He owns like a ranch essentially and he like hosts agility events and stuff. So he has like
Oh,
a
cool.
huge field that you can use and then he has the pool. And he charges $30 for an hour to go
Oh,
and like
cool.
use his whole space and it's just you.
That's
So
awesome.
it's
That's like,
amazing.
yeah,
Amazing.
that's
Yeah.
really nice. That's a good price for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can like host dog birthday parties there and stuff too if you wanted. Like,
Oh
yeah,
my
you can pretty much
gosh.
do whatever. Yeah, it's so cool.
That's really neat. Um, okay, so last question. If you could take Brewski anywhere, where would you want to take him to?
Oh, that's tough. Gosh, we could go anywhere. Where
Like
do you want?
no restrictions on like planes or anything either.
It would probably be somewhere like secluded and tropical and like where he could just swim and just I could chill out, he could swim, like that would be ideal. Like if he could come to Hawaii with me, that would be awesome. That would be super
That
cool.
would be really cool. He would thrive in Hawaii.
He would, like, because he loves hiking too. So I feel like we could hike, see some waterfalls, go to the beach, play. He would love that. Love that.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. I would definitely, I don't know exactly where I would take Layla, but probably somewhere like a little bit colder. Um,
Okay.
just because I can really tell a difference in her energy when it's like not super cold, but just like in the like 50s, 60s versus like 80s.
Oh
um,
my God.
so I think I would take her somewhere with hiking and like maybe a little bit of snow and just like lots and lots of fields.
Yeah. Does she like snow? Has she seen it before?
Yes, she loves snow. Loves
That's awesome.
it. I don't particularly like snow like that much, but yeah, she loves it. It's so fun to see her. She actually played with her herding ball in the snow even.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was
That's
a sight to see. It was
that's
funny because we had like an ice storm and so it was like a layer of ice and then snow on top of it, and she was like playing with it and like slip.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's awesome.
It was like a whole new level. Like she was playing hockey. Yeah.
Oh my God, you have videos of that?
I think I might. I have this really funny video of her like I say, like released for her to like go out the back door just for like boundaries, and she like comes running out and like slips on the ice.
Oh my God.
That's a pretty funny video, I will say that.
That's hilarious. We took him to see snow for the first time this winter, and he was like, what is this? But he ended up having so much fun, and like we went sledding. Like it was so fun. It was so fun.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Well, I really appreciated talking to you tonight. Do you have any questions that like you want to ask me, or topics that you want to like speak on really quick?
Gosh, I don't think so. I love that you're doing this because, like you said, a lot of people who don't have reactive dogs don't really know like what it's really like, and I just think it's really important to experience, like, or hear from reactive dog owners, I guess, what it is like and how to support them. I think, it's nice knowing that like you have friends that support you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so glad that you were able to join, and I appreciate that that comment.
Thank you. I really appreciate you too. And it was great talking because I never really got to talk to you about what kind of reactivity Layla had. So it's been great. And
he's like, please take me out now.
He looks so mad.
Just like straight face. However, Layla's like over here asleep. She's like, it's bedtime.
Oh yeah, because it's 9 for you guys, right?
Yeah.
I just like, I'm curious, like Kentucky, where you guys live, what is like the dog scene there? Like, there's a lot of dogs around you, or is it like?
There's like definitely a lot of like, so where we live in the city or like in suburbs. So there are like just a lot of like pet dogs. But like there's probably just as many like farm and like actually more so like working dogs as there are pet dogs.
Okay.
So, like a lot of herders, like herding breeds, like with sheep and cattle and just like a lot of farms in general. So like, I know that there are some like protection dogs that they basically protect the animals on the farm against predators.
Like Anatolians.
Yeah, like there's certain breeds for that. But yeah, you see people like walking their dog all the time. In terms of like restaurants and stuff, I probably wouldn't say as big as like San Diego, just because it's not as big of a city. But there are, I can name like 10 places off the top of my head that like we take Layla to eat.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Is it like a patio? That kind of what you guys do?
It's mostly like patio settings. Nowhere inside.
Okay.
But yeah, like I'll take her to like a Home Depot and different things like that. And typically we're the only dog in there.
That's awesome. That's like one, because like I love going to Home Depot and Lowe's, but I feel like I'm always like, it's good practice for us to see another dog, but at the same time, I'm like, I hope there's not another dog there. But
yeah, I don't think I've ever seen another dog in Home Depot or Lowe's.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I've been going to Lowe's a little bit more because I feel like it's not like notoriously known for being dog friendly. I know like a lot of people on Instagram go to Lowe's, but I feel like more of like the general public go to Home Depot because that's kind of like more people are aware that Home Depot's dog friendly, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll take her, like I hardly ever take her to pet stores just because like who all's gonna be in there. But TJ Maxx and Hobby Lobby, you can take dogs in Hobby Lobby, which is very surprising to me.
I didn't know that. Yeah,
so I've taken her in there once, And then I was like nervous the whole time. She was like, we were accidentally going to break something. Which is me in there in general. Like, even if I didn't have Layla, I'm like nervous that I'm going to bump into something and break it. So.
I always get nervous. Yeah. I get so nervous.
That's Bruce speaking.
Yeah. I just took his ball away because my God, psycho. I do want to, I think Home Goods, is that right? Home Goods is too, I think. Yeah, I want to go to Home Goods or TJ Maxx. We just haven't gone yet, but
yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
I haven't taken her into Home Goods, but I know some other people that have done something like that.
Awesome. Yeah, I really want to like venture out and go more places besides like Home Depot and Lowe's, but I get nervous. Mm-hmm. Like last weekend.
Look on Bring Fido.
Okay.
If you've ever heard of that, it's an app and like a website, I think, and you can like search for dog friendly restaurants and businesses.
That's awesome. Yeah, I definitely have checked that out before. I think last weekend, like after dock diving, we were looking for a restaurant to go to, and Sherry, Gamja's mom, was like calling the restaurants, and she was like, "Is there any dogs there?" And they're like, "Yes." And she's like, "Okay, where are they sitting?" I'm like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's just so funny, like the questions we have to ask, because like one restaurant, the dog was sitting. And then we ended up finding a place, and they're like, "Oh, you'll have your own patio section." So we were like, perfect. Like,
that's
awesome. Right there. Yeah, we're like, we'll be right there.
Save us that spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally feel that. Even like whenever we go out, we always try to like get a corner table and kind of put her in the corner, just so that like nothing can touch us.
I know. Yeah. So. Things we have to think about like ahead of time, you know, it's crazy. It's really crazy.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, that's all I have.
Me too. This was so fun. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I really appreciate you.
You're okay.
Really, I have to go play. I have obligations.
Yeah, go play. You're being summoned.
Yeah, literally being summoned. Oh my God. Okay. Well, so fun, Karoline. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. I'll post this tomorrow, and then I'll also post it on YouTube and podcasts.
Okay, so, that's fun. Exciting.
Yeah, be sure to check it out.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.